Tonight on CTV News at 6, Green Shirt Day.
He was able to donate his corneas, his liver, his kidneys, his heart, and his lungs.
A family tells the story of their son killed in the Humboldt Broncos crash. Members had a lot of concerns.
At the end of the day, we all know that privatization only leads to profits for the private companies.
Sault City Council votes down a plan to privatize the landfill site. And a tough decision to make.
Quite a distance from the downtown core.
City Council in Timmins has chosen a temporary location for an encampment site.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us on this Wednesday, March 25th. Sudbury's Drug Enforcement Unit seized weapons and drugs from a man they say is a repeat offender. Police executed search warrants on King Street yesterday for an apartment and a detached structure and arrested 2 people. The search of the spaces and individuals led police to a handgun with an extended magazine, cocaine, and nearly $3,000 in cash. Police say this is the 3rd time the 44-year-old man has been arrested on drug and firearm-related charges since June 2024. An investigation is underway in Elk Lake involving Ontario Provincial Police. OPP were called to a convenience store on Pine Street around 4:10 Monday afternoon, arresting a 30-year-old man. According to a news release, the man went into medical distress. He was rushed to the Englehart Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The province's Special Investigations Unit has now been assigned to the case. OPP say counterfeit bills were seized in Iron Bridge yesterday. The bills were flagged by a financial institution Tuesday morning. Police say their investigation has revealed the fake 20s were used at a local business, but say there's sufficient evidence to identify a suspect. Police are reminding people to look closely at the fine details and key features of the bills, like the transparent window, braille, and serial numbers. Green Shirt Day is coming up, a day that raises awareness about organ donation. CTV's Eric Tashner talked with the event founders and parents of young donors.
2 different families from 2 different walks of life. The Boulay family and the Dugas family are interconnected through their son's generous organ donation.
This is a big part, that knowing there's a little bit of him out there.
After Noah Dugas from North Bay died following an unexpected brain bleed in 2020, his organs were donated, ensuring 7 people are alive today.
We did receive a letter from the heart recipient, which was an 11-year-old girl who received Noah's heart. So that, for us, was tremendous.
When Logan Boulay was killed after the Humboldt Broncos bus crash, his selfless decision to be an organ donor saved 6 lives.
He was able to donate his corneas, his liver, his kidneys, his heart, and his lungs. He has a bit of a legacy, and he's made a difference, which I think is what any of us ever want.
Green Shirt Day, which runs on April 7th, was created in honor of Logan, whose choice inspired his parents to kickstart conversations about the thousands of Canadians on the organ transplant wait list.
Those are, what do they call that?
Presumed consent.
Presumed consent. If the family doesn't agree to it, then it stops. So if you don't have that conversation to tell your loved ones, I want to be an organ donor, then it's not going to happen.
It's the driving force behind the next 2 days of kitchen table conversations these families are having with students and community members. A conversation Boulay recalls having with Logan a year before his death.
I looked at him and I said, wow, you're going to be 85 years old. No one's going to want your organs. He looked at me and said, no, I want to be an organ donor.
According to the Trillium Gift of Life Network, 35%, or about 4.7 million Ontarians, are registered donors. And since 2003, over 26,000 people in Ontario have received life-saving organ transplants.
It's surprising how many people really have no idea whether they have, kind of checked that box, so to speak.
And while there's still some pain knowing their sons aren't here anymore, both families acknowledge the gift of life Noah and Logan gave means they're alive today in other people. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Despite millions in possible cost savings, Council in Sault Ste. Marie has opted to reject a proposal to privatize the city's landfill. CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports.
An unsolicited offer to acquire the airspace of the Sault's landfill nearly came to pass at this week's council meeting. GFL Environmental aimed to manage the site for at least 25 years, offering to build an organic waste processing facility and negotiate a payment cost for each metric ton of municipal solid waste. Ultimately, what swayed many on council, resulting in a 6-5 rejection, was the wide variance of savings that could come with privatization, ranging from 39 to 122 million.
That's not concrete enough for me to be able to make a decision on. I know that the service we have now is perfect the way it's running. There's always improvements, but they're doing a great job, and I'm ready to support that going forward.
This decision preserves the local jobs, the wages, the benefits, and the public oversight that keeps our community safe. At the end of the day, we all know that privatization only leads to profits for the private companies.
The recent council report did make note of job options for those staff who would have to choose between remaining with the city or staying at the landfill. With the nail officially in the privatization coffin, the focus switches to the future of the site, which has operated since the early 1960s.
We've got about 2.5 years left in the landfill. And we do expect approval from the province this year, which would then give us, another 25 years of life at the landfill.
While the city awaits the go-ahead on expanding the footprint of the landfill, staff continue to work on the creation of a composting facility, something that was supposed to be in place last year.
It will be a process because we have to finish the detailed drawings, then we'll RFP it, and then construction. So we're probably looking at, a couple-year time frame to get it up and operational.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Timmins City Council has selected a location for a temporary designated encampment. As CTV's Lydia Chubak reports, it also approved measures to address ongoing concerns related to the encampment behind the living space shelter.
Without putting any kind of parameters, details.
Timmins council members say with warmer weather on the way, they want to improve safety and reduce the presence of tents in public spaces while responding to the immediate needs of individuals experiencing homelessness. With a 6-1 vote, council specified the Pine Street location, a spot it voted against last year.
Councillor Wassell. Against. Your worship.
In favor.
Councillor Rockwissell voted against Tuesday night's resolution, and councillors Andrew Marks and Corey Robin were absent from the meeting.
So it is, quite a distance from the downtown core. It still is within the city, and so there's a certain level of proximity there. But I think it's the fact that it's away from residential that made it so favorable to council. Staff will be looking at what the designation of this encampment site will really mean for the municipality, what work needs to be done by us internally as the city, and then what we'll be looking to our community partners for support on.
Council also says temporary fencing will be installed in the laneway behind Living Space Shelter, where an encampment was established last summer. This is an attempt to appease neighbors in the area who complained about issues that arose from the encampment.
It's really to provide that barrier between the residential properties in the neighborhood, and the discussion was, do we have gates or allow accesses for vehicles, and that's where I think we're going to have to discuss with the residents that are impacted in that area and see what they would potentially think works best for their scenario, and work with them to come up with a solution to that aspect of the challenges.
Black adds there is no government funding available at this time for the new site. It will come as a cost to the municipality. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Now let's talk about the weather. A cool morning to start the day, but things eventually warmed up. How does the rest of the week look? To tell us more, here's CTV's Amanda Hicks filling in for Rick Wyman.
Thanks, Tony. And honestly, I would say not bad overall. We do have a little bit of volatility when it comes to the weather during March. Sometimes you see some messy weather, sometimes you see warm-ups. It's just, the way that it kind of all stacks up when it comes to the weather in this month. But the good news is we are going to be seeing a bit of sunshine on the way, a bit of mild conditions, a little bit of messy weather as well too. I'll have more details on that a bit later on. Tony.
Thanks, Amanda. The provincial budget is one day away. Still to come on CTV News at 6. What is the Ford government promising ahead of that? Right now, we're heading to Sault Ste. Marie. This live webcam is courtesy of the International Bridge Administration. It's zero. We're back after this commercial break.
Pure Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
Well, things got heated at times last night at the North Bay Council meeting. It happened after two of their own were publicly dismissed from the Castle Home Long-Term Care Board.
If you talk about deplorable and despicable actions, using those senior citizens as pawns, and quite frankly, that's exactly how I feel, is that you've used those senior citizens as pawns and fed them information that is incorrect and misleading. So your own description, I believe, is quite frankly coming back to haunt you.
Mayor Peter Chirico making reference to councillors Chris Main and Mark King. Councillors were asked in a motion to reject the Castle Home Board's request for new council representation. After it voted the pair off, there was also a second request calling for the board's chair to appear before council. Both motions were voted down, but the votes were not unanimous. The City of Timmins has awarded the contract for the development of a new transit master plan. Gannett Fleming Canada, ULC, will conduct a review of the current transit network and service delivery model before developing a plan to guide the city's transit policies for the next 20 to 25 years. The city says public input will play a critical role in the master plan development process. The city has also approved two bridge projects in South Porcupine. The Evan Street Bridge will be replaced with a single-span concrete box girder that will include sidewalks and pedestrian safety fixtures. The $5.1 million project will also improve water flow beneath the bridge, reducing blockages during spring runoff. Construction is expected to take 2 years. The Golden Avenue Bridge will get a nearly $700,000 facelift, including upgrades to guardrails and safety features, culvert repairs, and repaving.
Madame Edith Dumont.
There was applause and a standing ovation last night as Edith Dumont, Ontario's Lieutenant Governor, entered an annual dinner in Sturgeon Falls to celebrate French culture. It's the first time someone of this stature has spoken to the membership. Dumont, who was in West Nipissing for a couple of days, told CTV, "We're fortunate to live in a world where young people like to speak more than one language."
French and English, and sometimes some people are speaking other languages. I visited schools today where they speak 3 languages, so Anishinaabe, French, and English. And we share the importance today as Canadians and Ontarians to be able to, to interact with other people in their mother tongue.
It's the first time that we have this kind of special guest. And yes, it's very exciting. And for the person we're honoring tonight, it's very exciting for him also.
Dumont's speech last night in French focused on community and embracing those cultures that make us unique. Municipal leaders from across the province are in Sudbury for the annual AFMO Congress. The 2-day event focuses on innovation and the future of Francophone communities in Ontario. Yesterday, the federal government announced a $15,000 investment through FedNor. Officials say the funds will support the association's capacity building goals. The group's president says the Congress is a hub for driving policy change.
It's a chance to get together and to have some rich discussions. It's especially important for AFMO to host an in-person conference so that we could get together and have our exchanges in French. For a lot of people, it is their first language. It might be the language they're most familiar exchanging in, that they can really get their thoughts across in. And so being able to facilitate an environment, a forum for that to happen is important as well.
Sudbury is one of the largest municipalities that has the largest Francophone populations in Ontario. Right, and so the fact that we've been a part of that organization for a long time, so we're happy to be able to host them here.
And the Congress wraps up tomorrow afternoon. One day before unveiling the provincial budget, word that Ontario will offer an HST break to home buyers. CTV Siobhan Morris has the latest from Queen's Park.
It's a second attempt at waking up Ontario's sleepy home building industry, expanding a tax break for buying a new place introduced just 4 months ago.
We will be rebating the full HST for all new homes, no matter if you're a first-time buyer, second, or a 10-time buyer, you're getting the HST deducted.
For a limited time, buyers can knock a maximum of $130,000 off the cost of a new house or condo. The rebates scale down after a $1.5 million home. The hope is to spur construction of 8,000 new addresses.
Please, get everything together. You have 1 year.
The move costing Ontario an extra $1.4 billion. One of the line items when the Ford government introduces its budget Thursday. There's already been billions of dollars announced to support colleges and universities while scaling back OSAP grants and unfreezing tuition. There's $60 million for classroom supplies that elementary teachers will be able to pick themselves, and more cash to help connect every Ontarian with primary health care.
Look at this selection.
The finance minister choosing a Canadian-made tie to wear when delivering his spending plan. It will be the first with a full year under U.S. tariffs, a time when Peter Bethlen-Falvey acknowledges a lot of what was familiar has been upended.
Many people, are hurting. Their costs of everything is very high, and that's why we've been very focused on affordability.
Not increasing taxes as other provinces have this budget season. So no new streams of revenue coming in, and the finance minister has said his budget won't include any cuts. So in a precarious economic environment, the question is, how deep could Ontario's deficit and debt go?
They have been wasting billions of dollars on their pet projects, and now they don't have the resources and the fiscal capacity to do the things that people need.
And even with the debt approaching $500 billion, a projected deficit of $8 billion, that list doesn't stop.
We need to see some strong affordability measures in that budget. We need the government to address in a real way the hallway healthcare crisis that we have in this province.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Back now for a check on your current conditions. Here's Amanda.
Thanks for that, Tony. And as you mentioned a bit earlier on in the show, some communities did get to see some milder conditions out there. +4 degrees in North Bay, -5 in Timmins, so it was a little bit colder out there. Some snowfall, a few flurries throughout the day as well. And that's going to continue into the overnight hours at least. I know we don't want to be seeing snow at this time of year, but at least it's just a few centimeters at least. Let's check at the current conditions. Kapuskasing, Moosonee, Cochrane, and Timmins. Some light snow falling between -16 to -7 degrees, so quite cold out there. Snow falling as well in Wawa, Sault Ste. Marie, and Chapleau. -1 to the freezing mark. Some cloudy skies in Parry Sound. Snow falling as well between -7 to 0 degrees. And then we see a little bit of sunshine in Elliott Lake, Gore Bay, and Espanola, and sitting at +2 degrees there. That was the current conditions. Tony.
Thanks, Amanda. Staffing shortfall next on CTV News at 6. The New York crash is shining a light on a lack of air traffic controllers. Do we have the same problem in Canada? And HSN in Sudbury is highlighting its hospital-to-home program. The crash in New York has shone a light on the desperate lack of air traffic controllers, and not just south of the border. NAV Canada, which oversees our air traffic controllers, has acknowledged a staffing shortfall. CTV's Heather Wright has more.
More than 500,000 planes take off and land at major Canadian airports every month. The safe flow of that traffic all managed by air traffic controllers.
But we are short. There's no doubt about it.
John Graddick teaches aviation management at McGill University and says there are not enough air traffic controllers working in Canada.
These jobs are stressful. These jobs are demanding, and they are, you tend to burn out quick in this type of job.
Air traffic controllers in the United States are being scrutinized after Sunday's fatal collision between an Air Canada plane and a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia Airport. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board says it's too early in its investigation to determine exactly what happened. NAV Canada, which certifies and hires air traffic personnel in Canada, acknowledged it is, quote, managing workforce pressures, but declined to say how many people it is short. The organization traces its staffing challenges back to the pandemic, when air travel shut down and many controllers were laid off or took early retirement. Training classes were also disrupted. We are actively addressing staffing through a comprehensive multi-year strategy focused on recruitment, training, and retention, NAV Canada said in a statement. The agency says in 2024-2025, staffing growth exceeded attrition by 26%. But getting new workers on the job takes time, up to 36 months. Canada's transportation minister says he is working with NAV Canada to address the shortage, reiterating that air travel in Canada remains safe.
We take every precautionary measure and make sure that Canada continues to perform at the highest levels of security.
And that security, along with the challenging nature of this job, is reflected in the numbers. Last year, NAV Canada says they had 49,000 applicants, hiring just 500 into their training program. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
U.S. President Donald Trump says negotiations to end the war in the Middle East are underway, a claim that is being rejected by Iran. Trump says the U.S. is winning and that Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon.
Well, we're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it, and the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal.
According to two Pakistani officials, Iran has received a 15-point plan from the U.S. for a possible ceasefire. Officials say the proposal touches on relief from sanctions, civilian nuclear cooperation, a rollback of Iran's nuclear program, and shipping access through the Strait of Hormuz. The plan was submitted to Iran by intermediaries from Pakistan, which has offered to host negotiations between officials from Washington and Tehran. The reported offer from the U.S. comes as Washington prepares to send more troops to the Middle East. Reports say the Pentagon is preparing to deploy roughly 1,000 members of the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division over the next several days. Israel's military has carried out a wave of airstrikes on Tehran today. Reports indicate the strikes hit a residential area in the Iranian capital, though there have been no reports of casualties so far. And Iran has launched more strikes in the Gulf region, including attacks on Iraq. At least 7 security personnel were killed in a strike in western Iraq, while 13 other people were injured. It's the second attack in as many days targeting Iraqi forces. Jurors in New Mexico this week ordered Meta to pay a whopping $375 million after finding the social media giant failed to protect children from sexual exploitation and mental health harms. It is seen as a major defeat for the tech giant that owns Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. A number of countries are now implementing or considering social media bans for kids 16 and under since Australia became the first country to do so. Prime Minister Mark Carney said earlier this month Canada has not made up its mind on the issue. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Amanda.
Thanks for that, Tony. And I was outside a bit earlier today, and it was snowing here at our station in Sudbury, and I just had to ask, is it spring yet? I mean, I know it is officially on the calendar, but clearly Mother Nature hasn't gotten the memo just yet. We do have a few centimeters of snow expected overnight. That's going to continue into Thursday, but then by the time Friday rolls around, we're going to see some sunshine, some colder temperatures, mind you, but it's going to be nice to feel that sunshine. Overnight, though, we have some periods of snow, some light snow in Sault Ste. Marie, -3, -13 degrees. In Timmins, going to be quite cold there, -2 in North Bay. Looking over to Moosonee, -22, periods of light snow there. Pretty much a similar story across the board. Periods of snow mixed with rain in Gore Bay, and a similar story in Wawa as well. Let's look at the 7-day forecast, starting with Sudbury and Nickel Belt. So for tomorrow, we've got 2 centimeters of snow, high of -1, -7. On Friday, sunny skies, chance of flurries. On Saturday, high of -4, but Sunday, that's when things start to turn around, +3, the normal for this time of year, chance of sleet, and then we get back to seasonal conditions on Monday. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, light snow for tomorrow, high of 1, -4 on Friday, with some sunshine to start the weekend. A chance of flurries on Saturday with a bit of sunshine there as well. Chance of sleet on Sunday, high of +5, just above the normal for this time of year. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, light snow for tomorrow, high of -7, -10 for Friday. Mix of sun and cloud, chance of flurries on Saturday. Bit of messy conditions on Sunday, high of +3, getting a bit milder there though, and then a chance of flurries on Monday. For Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, flurries for tomorrow, 2 centimeters, high of -4, -9 on Friday with a mix of sun and cloud, a chance of flurries on Saturday. Slight chance of a rain-snow mix on Sunday, getting up to +2 and then holding on to that temperature as we continue into Monday. And finally, for North Bay, West Nipissing, 2 centimeters of snow, just a little bit of snow for tomorrow, high of 1 degree. But I guess it all feels like a lot though at this time of year. -7 on Friday, sunny skies, chance of flurries on Saturday, high of -4, +2 on Sunday, and then a mix of sun and cloud on Monday, continuing on into Tuesday. And for today's weather pick of the day, it was sent in by Lisa Taylor from Powassan, and it's a barred owl. And she said that she saw that owl in her backyard and she just looked at it and she just thought how beautiful it is. And you are absolutely right, Lisa. Thank you so much for sending that in. I love owls. They're so wonderful. And coming up a bit later on in the show, CTV's Madison Marier will have a story about a Sudbury student earning a prestigious award. Stay with us.
Canadian winters can really leave their mark on your car. As temperatures warm up, it's a good time to give your vehicle some care and attention to ensure it's in top driving condition. Here's how you can get your vehicle ready for spring on my CAA tip of the month. Change your tires. Once the weather is 7 degrees Celsius or warmer for 7 days, it's time to change your tires. Switching to summer or all-season tires will give you better traction on rainy spring roads, and as the temperature rises, making your vehicle safer to drive. If you need help switching your winters to summers, CAA's Mobile Tire Change is there for you. Clean your vehicle. Winter slush and salt-covered roads make it difficult to keep your car clean no matter how vigilant you are. Spring provides a great opportunity to undo months' worth of winter buildup with a fresh coat of wax and a good polish. Get your vehicle's oil changed. Oil is the lifeblood of your vehicle. Regular oil changes maintain engine lubrication, improves gas mileage, cools engine components, and removes dirt and debris, all of which extends the life of the engine. Check your brakes. You should have your brakes checked every 6 months or 20,000 kilometers. Spring is a perfect time to make an appointment because all that salt can cause damage. You'll want to fix that right away. Replace your air filter. Every spring, there's a period just after the snow has melted where months worth of hidden dust is freed to the world. A lot of that dust is going to end up in your air filter, which makes this a good time to get a new one. Examine your headlights. While salt and gravel help us grip to winter roads, they can also wreak havoc on our headlights, causing wires to corrode and cases to crack. Inspect all your lights for signs of damage or other issues. And test your car battery. The winter can be a common time for a vehicle's battery health to depreciate. A battery loses 20% of its capacity in freezing weather and 50% when the temperature reaches -30 degrees Celsius. To avoid any unexpected failure, it's best to get your car battery tested. Your spring getaway is about to begin. Just make sure your vehicle is ready too. And that is my CAA tip of the month.
A Canadian family is dealing with a travel nightmare. Their grandmother suffered a stroke while in China and doesn't have travel insurance. CTV Shannon Patterson reports.
Lilia Avatova moved to Canada from China when she was a child and settled in Burnaby. Recently, the 78-year-old reconnected with extended family in her birth country.
Right after they flew into China, my mom got sick.
On March 6th, Avutova had a stroke and was taken to hospital in the city of Kunming. Her daughter rushed to be by her side.
And it turned out that she had cerebral hemorrhage at the time. My mom is still in a coma. She still hasn't woken up.
As Lantine struggles with a language barrier to get medical information from Chinese doctors, she's facing the daunting task of paying for her mom's care.
In the ICU, it costs $1,000 a day, 1,000 Canadian dollars a day. That we've been paying.
Once she's stable, Lantine wants to fly her mom home to BC for ongoing treatment. But because of her cranial bleed, the cost is astronomical. She was quoted 108,000 Canadian dollars for medical staff to accompany Avutova on a commercial flight and 275,000 US for a private charter. It's money the family simply doesn't have.
It's just been really, really hard not being able to do what's right for my mom and help her come home.
Lantine had urged her parents to buy travel insurance for their trip to China, but they refused.
I wish I had insisted, but I don't know if it would have changed their mind.
A friend has started an online fundraiser to help the family cover daily medical expenses.
From what we've gathered, maybe in about a month or two, my mom should be well enough as far as the cranial bleeding goes. We're hoping that she'll be well enough to travel back home.
Lantine knows a medically assisted flight will be a huge financial hit, but she wants her mom back in Burnaby.
My mom's got 4 grandkids. They miss her, they love her, they can't wait to see her.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
A new program at Health Sciences North is helping to free up beds as the hospital continues to operate over capacity. It's called the Hospital to Home, known as the H2H program. CTV's Alana Everson reports.
The H2H program has been running for over a year now and supports patients as they transition safely from the hospital back to their homes with coordinated care and support.
We certainly have a large ALC population, and this certainly helps us streamline some of those patients who are ultimately waiting here for rehab. We certainly have a lot of applications to community beds, and certainly being able to identify those patients on the unit who could go home with that ongoing rehabilitation.
When a patient's discharged, they receive a call within 24 hours for an initial assessment at home. So we get a nurse into their home within that 24 hours to make sure we have a good understanding of the patient's care needs, and a transition program is implemented right away. So they have nursing, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, PSW, so personal support workers, and then other allied health as needed.
HSN confirms daily occupancy often exceeds 110%, with an average of 644 patients cared for daily in a hospital with 526 inpatient beds. The program enables safe, timely discharge for patients who would otherwise remain in acute care beds.
This year we've had so from April to February, we've had 440 patients onboarded to the program. Our goal for the year was 400, so we are very happy to be surpassing that, and we are aiming to end this physical year with about 500 patients onboarded.
Health Sciences North says the Hospital to Home program has changed how it supports discharge to recovery, helping to ease the strain on hospital capacity. The program started in January of 2025 and is fully funded by Ontario Health. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
And Health Sciences North posting to social media today about its parking capacity. With all the recent snow, parking capacity on site has been reduced by about 335 spaces. The hospital is recommending carpooling or taking public transit when possible. Patients may also want to consider being dropped off or arriving earlier for scheduled appointments to allow extra time for parking. HSN says crews are working to have the snowbanks cleared in the coming weeks. They are rewarded by creating a brighter future. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. A Sudbury High School student is receiving an award that could be worth up to $100,000.
Ask an expert on location this week at Cambrian College. Very familiar surroundings for all of us here. My guest, Jeremy Potter, who looks after financial aid. He's the administrator here, and we're talking student assistance, financial assistance, crucial in getting a good education. Jeremy, thanks for dropping by.
Thank you very much, Rick.
There have been a lot of changes to OSAP, the Ontario student program that ensures that students have enough cash to get through school. What are some of the changes? And we'll get into the wherefores and whys, but what's the big news first and foremost as we've learned from the Ford government?
Very good question. Okay, so to start, OSAP is made up of two portions. There's the Canada portion and the Ontario portion. The only changes that we've been made aware of so far are the changes to the Ontario portion, so the provincial government. And the big change is just how the Ontario government does its funding mix, which is the grant to loan ratio. So the way it works right now is students from low-income families can get up to 90% of their Ontario funding from grants. The rest would be a max of 10% loan. What's being changed is next year is that grant amount will cap out at 25%. So the rest can be 75% loan. And it could actually be more if they're not from a low-income family with their income falling under that lower threshold.
Jeremy, what's changed with OSAP, and what about lifting the freeze on tuitions?
Well, it definitely means that there is more funded, like more money available to them because they're not paying as high of tuition fees. But keeping in mind that if tuition fees increase, then that's the amount that gets loaded in onto their OSAP application for how much they're funded for. So if they are going to be paying more in tuition, then that percentage increase can also be added in terms of their OSAP assessment.
Is there another way where students can get some kind of assistance in terms of maybe additional funding to ensure that they have enough cash to get through their first and second and maybe third year of education?
Yeah, so there's not an overall threshold for eligibility purposes, but there is an overall threshold for grant eligibility, and they're all different. So there's Canada and Ontario grants, different types of Canada grants. Each grant has its own income threshold based on the students, their family, whether it be their parents or their spouse, what their expected contribution is. And those income thresholds based on household family income as well as family size is what determines how much grant funding they're eligible for. So the higher income, the less grant eligibility or no grant eligibility at all.
Jeremy, tell me more about the Ontario Learn and Stay program. I understand it's beneficial for students in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Cambrian, we refer to our scholarships and bursaries just generally as awards because they can be for students who are in financial need or scholarship more for merit-based things like where you have community involvement or extracurriculars. So we encourage all students to apply for awards. We have an award for every single program that we offer at Cambrian. There's also some external awards that are available all across the country, not just for students at Cambrian, so we encourage students to apply to those as well. And then Learn and Stay, that is another funding tool that is available to students who are in health sciences programs, so it's specifically for our medical laboratory technology students, paramedic, and then our 2 nursing programs. So it's the 4-year degree, registered nursing, or the 2-year practical nursing.
Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. My
Jeremy
pleasure.
Potter, Financial Aid Administrator here at Cambrian College. For more on tonight's episode, please go to CTV News Northern Ontario.ca.
A Sudbury High School student has won a prestigious award based on his character, service, and leadership potential. The scholarship is valued at $100,000. CTV's Madison Merrier tells us more.
Hector Loisel was more than one of 5,400 applicants for the Lawrence Scholarship. As part of the application, he had a questionnaire, multiple interviews, but he successfully made it through them all.
I was grateful and lucky to be selected as one of the 36 winners.
He said the scholarship will make a big difference on his life. Graduating debt-free, having the opportunities for summer programs, and gaining a mentor.
I was always knew I wanted to go to university for engineering. To go to McMaster for this program specifically, I just discovered it this year, and I did a lot of research on it online. I watched some videos of students that were in the program, what their day-to-day lives looked like, and it was just very interesting. It definitely was something I could see myself doing.
Combining his love of biology with engineering, which is unique. One of the things I know at Llewellyn that we kind of strive for is to have diversity with our student group, and I know with Hector, not only is he involved with robotics, he's been involved with cross-country skiing, he's heavily involved in academics here, he's in the band, and of course he's a world-class tumbler. So if Interdisciplinary learning is one thing that we strive for here. Hector certainly embodies that.
Outside of his studies, Loisel works for a tutoring company and is very involved in gymnastics, which he credits much of his success to.
Being able to understand that all kids are different, and being able to adapt to help kids that maybe learn a little differently, or kids that maybe feel a bit embarrassed, to struggle, and teaching them that it's okay to make mistakes, and mistakes are where we grow. And I think just seeing the growth I learned through these two, both tutoring and gymnastics, they were really impressed by that, and that's probably part of the reason why I was selected for the scholarship.
Monte says Loisel is a perfect candidate and a great representative of Llewellyn Park Secondary School. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Around 600 hockey players from across the province have been competing at 4 different arenas in Greater Sudbury as part of an annual tournament.
This tournament actually started pretty small for elementary schools, and then it just kind of grew and grew and grew as there was more and more interest. So now we're up to 4 rinks, and we've got 32 teams participating this year.
The tournament is for grades 7 and 8 French-speaking players to practice their hockey skills with teammates. It also gives players of every level a chance to come together to play Canada's game.
I got a few teammates of mine who I've known since I was little, and it's just fun to play with them because they play rep and I play house league, so it's fun to be able to see what they do and learn a bit from them.
The 4 divisions of the tournament wrapped up this afternoon. Organizers hope this gave players a chance to practice teamwork, all in the French language. Postseason action last night in the NOJHL is heating up. The Sault Michigan Eagles are the Cinderella story as the 7th place team leads the Powassan Voodoos 3-0 after a double overtime victory last night. The Sault Thunderbirds winning their game 3-2 over the Timmins Rock to take the lead in that quarterfinal matchup. Game 4 in both series are tonight, with the Eagles looking to bust out the brooms on home ice. The Rock and Thunderbirds will face off in the Sault. Both games are at 7 p.m. The Hearst Lumberjacks come out on top over the Espanola Paper Kings 3-2 last night to make it 3-0 in the series going into Game 4 tonight in Espanola at 7:30. And the Sudbury Cubs swept their series and now get a break after their 10-3 victory last night that moves them into the semifinals. Play ball. The 2026 Major League Baseball season starts this evening. The San Francisco Giants are home to the New York Yankees. The first pitch is just after 8 Eastern time. By the way, the Toronto Blue Jays don't hit the field until Friday when they are hosting the Athletics. Dearest Gentle Reader, Season 5 of Bridgerton is in production and some famous props are up for auction. David Daniel has the details in tonight's Hollywood Report.
A piece of Black Panther history is among more than 1,500 movie and pop culture items in Prop Store's Spring Entertainment Auction. In addition to a Black Panther stunt helmet from the 2018 film, the auction includes a Maximus Arena helmet and mask from Gladiator, a light-up C-3PO head from Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, a screen-matched Wilson volleyball from Castaway, and Quint's harpoon gun from Jaws. The live action runs through Friday. More info at PropStoreAuction.com.
Our mission is to find life in the far reaches of our solar system.
And they'll have one more season to do it. Apple TV says it's renewed For All Mankind for a 6th and final season, fulfilling the original arc envisioned by its creators. Meanwhile, Netflix has announced production has begun on Season 5 of Bridgerton, focusing on Francesca Bridgerton Sterling and her late husband's cousin, Michaela Sterling. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
In a landmark court case in the U.S., Meta and YouTube have been found liable for damaging a young woman's mental health. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
The California jury found both companies knew their platforms were dangerous and failed to properly warn users of the risk. Meta and Alphabet, the parent company of YouTube, have been ordered to pay $3 million in damages, U.S. Both had fought the argument their platforms were addictive. The win is seen as monumental because it sets precedent for hundreds of other social media cases before the American courts. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.38. West Texas Intermediate is down over $2 to 90.32. Western Canadian Select is up over $3 to 76.21. And the TSX gained 441 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold is up $30.41, closing the day at $45.0463 U.S. an ounce. Silver dipped 12 cents. Copper moved forward 2 cents. And nickel is up 9 cents, ending the day at $7.72 U.S. a pound. And Amanda is back now for one last look at your Thursday weather.
Thanks for that, Tony. And winter just doesn't seem to want to let us go. In Sudbury, we've got 2 centimeters of snow, some light snow in Timmins, periods of snow in Sault Ste. Marie between -7 to 1 degree. Parry Sound, periods of rain. That's a little bit more spring-like, 4 degrees, 1 degree in North Bay, 2 centimeters of snow, and similar story in Temiskaming Shores. But we do have some sunshine on the way for Friday. Tony.
Thanks, Amanda. And finally, 2 Montreal pizza makers are in Las Vegas hoping to win the top prize at the International Pizza Expo. Sebastiano Capilano and his partner Alex Morangelli have been making their crowd-pleasing pizzas for almost 25 years. They've won awards before, both locally and internationally, and now they're going up against 100 pizza makers from around the world, and the winning pizza will be announced tomorrow. And folks, that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks so much for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night, folks.